Beautiful inside and beautiful outside. That is what we actually want. Hello everyone, welcome back to another segment. In today's episode, let's dive into African ladies family based in China. I think before an episode needs to start, we have to trace back, from the beginning and from where it started. Meanwhile, some persons do not understood when we say our African lady is got married to a Chinese husband based in China. The thought our Chinese grandmama is a friend, but we have been saying it that Chinese grandmama is a friend and also her mother-in-law. There's a difference, but the attitude and the character being displayed characterize them as being close mates. When we say friend, means someone that love and someone that like sharing things together and love having things to be done in a certain manner. It is time now we know that African lady actually love her mother-in-law and her mother-in-law also love her so much, and they both are two friends and two lovers. And this kind of love, is not actually for everyone. This kind of love is limited, and you can hardly find this kind of love all over the world. There are some persons that love good things, and there are some persons that love bad things. There are some persons that love good things to be happening to people, and they love seeing, people changing, and they want to see, kind of changes in the lives of many. Why there are some persons that love bad things, to be happening. When bad things happen, that is where they celebrate, that is where they're happy, and that is where, they feel joyful. But in this case, a African lady is not categorized under that. For her own ability, her own state, to be hating and ensuring that things goes on a very rightful manner, on a very rightful state is something, we should account for. Well, if you're under the sound of my voice or you are actually watching this clip, if you cannot content, what's happening, I guess you can just, scroll by. But if you actually love what is happening, you can as well give a thank you and a thank you message to our African lady for the wondrous work actually she's doing in her Chinese grandmama's life and also her Chinese grandpapa. You find out that the family is built in love, the family is built in simplicity, and here comes a African lady and a Chinese mama. All right, before we move ahead, I think we should answer some of the comments that is coming in, dripping in. So as we have to clear off the hair. And the first comment, or should I say question that comes in, and someone is asking, is she a friend or a mother-in-law? Well, we say this several times that our African lady is our mother-in-law, okay, we call her mother-in-law, not mother-in-law, not law. That is why we classify her like a friend, because she loved her so much, and she herself also loved our African lady so much. She wouldn't want to lose sight of her. She just loved everything about our African lady, and that made it more easier for them. You can see that they're actually doing things together, and she's teaching her more of the Chinese recipe. Well, we have another question coming in, and the question goes like this. And someone is asking, is she married? What is she doing in the house? Why is she in the Chinese land? What is she doing? Yes, what is she doing there? A beautiful girl, a beautiful lady with talent, with beauty. Well, I think we should, before sending questions, we should at least go to our previous video to watch. You see where the wedding took place, where she and her husband did wedding, and even traditional wedding. They did traditional wedding in Africa, and also did church wedding, yes, in Africa too. And they also did the Chinese wedding in the Chinese environment. So I think it's not something of that question should be asked, in such. I think if you have any other question, you should throw it and ask, not asking us what is she doing in that environment. When someone got married, where do you expect the person to be? To be in her own country, or where? So she's supposed to be as law and indices, she ought to be in her husband country, in where her husband stay, which is the Chinese environment, which is in China. So she's there with her husband. I think that question should be sent. Well, I think we will start checking question before answering them. That is what we'll do. All right, let's dive to the comment section. I think we have a good comment creeping in, and many persons were like they actually love her. She moves with her Chinese grandmama freely, and she understood her, and she also Chinese grandmama also understood African lady. But in terms of communication, I think African lady is learning more of the Chinese language, so her communication will be more free. And we have another comment coming in, and so it's like if she comes to understand the Chinese language, that there will be a lot of stories being told to her by a Chinese grandmama. And that comment, someone is asking, well, is this a question? Where's the husband? Oh, it has already come where the question has already tripping, because I said I'm actually not going for the question segment. I'm going for the comments list before we dive in. But notwithstanding, I've said it, the husband, is usually is outside, and most times he usually stays with his dad for more should I say for more mentorship. Yes, the dad usually tell him what and what to do, and this is the stage in which he needs those things which he ought to do. And as time goes on, the both of them will be living together, with the father be there, with our Chinese grandmama be there. No, it will just be the both of them. So this is a stage in which he needs to collect some training, some interactions, and some only discussion which will help him and also help our African lady in the building of an institution which is called marriage. You will note that our African lady, he's so liberal, and also her Chinese grandmama, he's so understanding that she allowed her, to prepare that special delicacy, though she has taught her how to do it, and she followed the step and procedure. The last time, if you check in our recent video, she was being taught how to make the Chinese special delicacies, some of the Chinese dishes. As you can see, our African lady has picked so much, and she's ready to learn. She's willingly and ready to learn. She understood that she's married into this family, and this is what is required, and this she needs to do. Bet you as time goes on, she's going to be perfected in all things, because she's actually ready to learn. As you can see, our Chinese grandmama is always 240 with her, teaching her all the recipe, making her to understand this is what you should put, this is how you should do it. And she also, with an open mind, with an open heart, willingly to learn new thing, willing to learn a new recipe. She being able to understand. As you can see, she's actually taking the lead in the kitchen and also doing some of the cooking now. When married to a certain culture or tradition, or to a certain state or country, you have to understand that things are just being done different, and there's some certain rules and regulations which needs to be put in place, and also to understand the fact that things changes, and the willingness to learn, and the willingness to understand those things which hurt the does and the don'ts we help you even when you are in the foreign land. Right, let's take some of the vital information, some of the important information before we at least call it a day on this particular clip. One of the things, when you want to get married to an ASEAN, when you want to get married to or you want to practice or do intra-marriage, mostly if you're in the Chinese culture, there are don'ts and there are also do, and there are some rules and regulation in every state, in every country. There is a rules that guides it. We have a lot of comments, and many were like they want to marry to the Chinese environment. Many were like they want to go to the Chinese environment. Can you withstand the laws? Can you withstand the rules and regulation? If you know you cannot, so I don't think you should forge ahead going for something you cannot put your mind to obey. It's only those that have the kind of heart you like, I can do it, I can do this, I can do this, then they will try their fate. Why some landed in a very good hand, others land in a very bad land. Not all of them lands in a good hand. You can say African lady, she landed in a very good home, and that is perfectly okay, as normal. There are some rules and regulations, Before I forge ahead, there are some rules and regulations which guides, certain countries. Like for instance, you being married, to the Chinese man doesn't mean okay that you will not you giving 100% stay there. You perfectly stand there. You have to ensure that you renewed your visa, and your visa needs to be renewed. If not, you'll be sent back, and I know you wouldn't want that to happen. As you can see here, our Chinese grandmama and also African lady have prepared a special delicacy, and her husband and also our Chinese grandpapa, they are in the farm. Someone would say, why do you slow in speaking? Yes, because I want us to understand the don'ts and the don'ts, the importance and the, should I say, the advantage and the disadvantage. That is why I have to slow down. So we have to get it to, to understand, for us to understand that you don't just dive into the country. You must obey the rules and regulation. You must ensure that after every year you have to renew your visa. You don't just stay even after getting married. You have to renew it. It's not like other countries that when you do it once, you have done it once. As the culture, according to their culture and tradition, this is what they do, and this is certain and cannot be changed. So marrying to the Chinese husband or marrying to the Chinese environment doesn't give you like 100%, doesn't give you like 100 over 100 stay. If that visa is not renewed, you'll be sent back. In our subsequent episode, I think we are going to enlighten us on this, and so that for those that are saying they love the Chinese men, they love their culture, they love the way they behave, and they love the way they treat their wives, and they want to be involved, they want to get content. Well, I think in our subsequent edition, we are going to enlighten you on that. Alright, as you can see, African lady and a Chinese grandmama, they're doing the normal thing, cooking and also discussing, just as one of our commentators said, that our Chinese grandmama have a lot of stories to tell our African lady. But as time goes on, when she understood the language perfectly well, communication will be more easier, and communication will be flowing more easier. She has gotten a good friend, she has gotten a good person, and she's so happy to have her in her home, and she too, she's so happy to be in the family. That made her to be more secure, that made her to have peace of mind, that made her to see that she has entered another family, a family that she felt welcome, a family that she felt so much welcome, the family that she felt so much opened, a family that she felt so much secured. One thing in a new environment is being secured. An environment where you're not secured, you cannot be open, and you cannot do things freely. So the ability of her to be more open and more feeling more secured, and that's granted her to display a talent. After long work, you will see our Chinese grandpapa came. He in hand was feeling so happy seeing the boat, had prepared special delicacy for the family, and this is the work of our African lady and also a Chinese grandmama. Now it's time to test the special delicacy. Well, we have someone who checked in, and the person was like, it's like they don't have much recipe in the house. So funny enough, I can't answer that for now until we're checking our subsequent edition. We are going to talk more about that and also to look into it if actually it's true. Alright, this is where I'll be wrapping up today's episode. I hope you're enlightened onto this package. Please do stay tuned and stay blessed, and always remember, lovelies, stay cool for now. Bye for now.